Dr. Hayward,
Yeah,
sir,
sorry.
I want to bring this back to Ronald Reagan.
Sure.
However, what you just said is pertinent, and that is 28 years ago, when the Senate was Republican after the election of Ronald Reagan, and he had a Democratic Senate,
Democratic House, right.
Democratic House. How did he succeed in getting legislation passed? Now, today you've got a president who has a huge majority in both houses, and he's having trouble. What was the secret of bipartisanship then versus now?
In one word, necessity. And the large congressional majorities that Obama has are actually his curse. So I think. And here's why. And so you've seen this problem. Sometimes liberals say, isn't Obama the liberal Reagan because he's personally appealing and personally popular and gives a great speech? Yeah, but there's a world of difference after that. Reagan took ownership of the issues. He always said, this is my economic plan, and I want an up or down vote on it. What's Obama's health care plan? What's his cap and trade plan? What's his stimulus plan? All three of those huge measures, he said, I'm going to let Congress write it. You guys work out the details. Well, that was a big mistake because in one sentence, the Democratic Party can't govern in Congress. Long footnote to explain why. I'll just leave that at that. Obama's not really leading, he's following. And I understand some of the reasons, but his very first week in office, I thought, oh, he made his first big mistake. He had the Republicans in, and I think it was Eric Cantor who said, well, you know, our stimulus idea is some tax cuts. How about a payroll tax holiday? A lot of workers pay much more in payroll tax than they do in income tax. Payroll tax puts money in people's, a payroll tax holiday would put money in people's pockets immediately, either to help them make their mortgage payments they're behind on, or to go out and spend in the classical business instead of having to route through bureaucracies to fill potholes. And Obama's answer was, and this was on camera as well, I'm sorry, he said that we won the election, we kind of trump you on that. Just sort of, if he had included that idea, or one or two other, if he'd said to Republicans, you give me your three best ideas, we'll put it in the stimulus, he'd have gotten at least 30 Republican votes. And so today, with the stimulus looking like a flop, it would have been a bipartisan act, and so there wouldn't be the partisan accountability that Republicans can now hang around his neck. Nancy Pelosi, the same week, said, we won the election, we wrote the bill. That's why we left Republicans out. Well, now Reagan, with a Democratic House, from day one knew he had to bring Democrats along. So he said, here's my plan, I want an up or down vote on it. And he fought with Speaker O'Neill about getting an up or down vote on his proposal, because O'Neill could have blocked it with parliamentary tactics if he'd wanted to, but he was scared to. But then Reagan would go to individual Democrats and make the deals for their votes, and that's always a bit of a messy process, but he got most of what he wanted. O'Neill used to say, I hated negotiating with Ronald Reagan because he always got 80% of what he wanted, because Reagan was good at that sort of thing. So to restate the problem, Obama and his people were obsessed with avoiding what they perceived as Bill Clinton's mistakes in Bill Clinton's first 2 years, which went badly for him, when they would have been much better off studying how Ronald Reagan succeeded in his first 2 years. So, Reagan's tax cut bill passed the Senate 89-11. That's real bipartisanship, right? And Obama's people figured, well, we don't really need to have any Republicans. We can do this on a partisan basis, even though we just spent 8 years of all the smart people in town saying the mistake Republicans are making is governing in Congress on a narrow partisan basis, and there's some validity to that. Well, now they've forgotten all that.